In the early 1990s, Medellín was reeling. Turf wars, public bombings, and the global cartel trade had turned daily life into a combat zone, earning the Colombian city a grim title, the murder capital of the world. By 2013, the global conversation shifted. The Urban Land Institute evaluated this exact same place and named it the most innovative city in the world, beating out tech giants like New York and Tel Aviv. Understanding how a city reverses its trajectory in 20 years requires looking closely at the physical terrain of the Abarava Valley. Long before borders or city limits were drawn, the Abarava Valley was a 60-kilometer green cradle in the Andes. It offered a mild climate, rich soil, and steep, protective mountains. When Spanish conquistadors arrived in the 1500s, they applied a strict spatial logic. They claimed the easily developed flat land at the center of the valley. Surviving indigenous and mixed-race communities were systematically pushed to the margins, forced to build their homes on the difficult, steep terrain climbing up the mountainsides. That early segregation shaped the foundation of modern Medellín. The wealthy lived below, building expansive estates and colonial centers with easy access to water and trade. From its inception, physical elevation dictated socioeconomic exclusion. Proximity to the flat valley floor meant proximity to wealth and opportunity. By the 19th century, the region's economy surged. Gold mining in the surrounding mountains and booming coffee plantations in the valleys turned the city into a major commercial hub. This economic engine was driven by what locals called the Paisa spirit, a stubborn optimism and intense work ethic born out of geographic isolation. You had to hustle to survive in the Andes. That local drive fueled massive manufacturing operations. Sprawling clothing and metallurgy factories popped up, earning Medellín the nickname Colombia's Manchester. But the economic rewards were heavily concentrated among the elite landowners and factory bosses in the valley, deepening the divide between the top and the bottom. In the mid-20th century, Colombia was torn apart by a brutal civil conflict known as La Violencia. Over 200,000 people died, and rural farming communities saw their livelihoods destroyed. Seeking safety and a job, hundreds of thousands of displaced refugees poured into Medellín. Because the wealthy valley floor was already completely claimed, these desperate families had only one direction to go: up. They built informal, densely packed neighborhoods called comunas, clinging to the steep, disconnected hillsides. The city's geography had become a visible crisis. The rich were safely insulated at the bottom, while the poor were stranded above, lacking basic roads, transport, or city services. It was inside this severe isolation that the Medellín cartel found its greatest asset. Pablo Escobar exploited the government's complete absence in the upper comunas. He handed out cash, built soccer fields, and provided land to the marginalized, buying absolute, fierce loyalty in return. By the 1980s and early 90s, the city fractured into militarized zones, consumed by assassinations and a global cocaine trade that operated with impunity from the hillsides. The mountainsides that had originally protected the valley were now fortresses of violence, severing Medellín completely in two. Following Escobar's death in 1993, local leaders faced a hard truth. You cannot heal a structurally fractured city with police force alone. You have to physically stitch it back together. They embraced a strategy called social urbanism, and its crown jewel was the Metrocable. Launched in the early 2000s, this cable car system was designed specifically to link the steepest, poorest comunas directly into the city's main transit network. The cable cars acted as a physical artery bridging centuries of geographic segregation, finally granting marginalized citizens rapid, safe access to the valley's jobs and schools. Following the transit lines, a network of striking library parks, schools, and civic spaces rose inside the once-feared hillside communities. Instead of pushing people out, Medellín brought the state to the margins. Today, access to education, tech hubs, and healthcare flows freely between the valley floor and the mountain peaks. When global panels look at Medellín today, they see a blueprint for urban innovation. Instead of focusing solely on software or startups, the city used physical infrastructure to connect its most disconnected people. The rebirth of this valley offers a universal lesson. A city's destiny relies entirely on whether its leaders use geography to hoard power or build the bridges necessary to share growth.